Well, howdy, Schlockaholics. Welcome back to another episode of that Schlock-Talk, baby. We got the full crew assembled again. The Avengers back together. Uh, got some stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, some pickups that we're going to show off, a few featured trailers, hopefully plus one more if this, internet stops fucking with me over here. Uh, very excited for this. It's been a while since we got to hang out with Cody. Cheers, bud. How you been?
Don't call it a comeback.
I think that word's copyrighted by Corey Feldman now. Uh, I don't want to deal with his weird incel Twitter lawyers
I
trying to fuck again.
I
So
got
we'll
to
call it
see
a return, a reunion.
I got to see him a month ago, open full and biscuit, and he did not disappoint.
Ooh.
Oh man, I see. The thing with Corey Feldman is, though, at this point, I think he has successfully ruined all of his previous work for me too. Like I can't watch The Goonies or Stand By Me or any of that stuff now without thinking about how much of a cringy douchebag he eventually becomes. Because on the surface, it's all fun and games, right? It's just chuckle, chuckle, Corey Feldman doing his Michael Jackson moves. But then when you watch, like, there's this channel called Jim and Them that I've been watching a lot lately, where pretty much all they do is make fun of Corey Feldman. They're like, they've lived rent free in his head for sure, because it's just a podcast like this, like a panel of dudes, and they watch and react to Corey Feldman cringe and then, like, pick it apart and call him out on all the little stuff that you don't notice the first time through. Like how every show, probably with no exception at yours, something will go wrong and Corey blames the crew or the band, and it's just little things like that add up to where it's like, well, this guy might be kind of evil behind the scenes, like I bet you he's an absolute terror to be around. Um, and that just has tarnished his little kid 80s actor legacy for me a little bit. Like he went on this podcast the other day and refused to talk about Stand By Me or any of his old movies because all he wanted to talk about was the Limp Bizkit tour, which he refuses to refer to as Loserville. He calls it Low Serve Ill, which is just only you, Corey. Only you. Have you taken any trips down the Corey Feldman rabbit hole, Brandon? Have you seen any of that cringe, the music that he does?
Oh, I just ignore modern Corey Feldman. I look at it like this. He's been through a lot of crap himself, so the man really did get kind of a lot of the screws knocked loose in his head. So I can't blame it all on him. But
Yeah.
definitely he was there. I can still enjoy some of my favorite stuff. I mean, shoot, I still like that Rock and Roll High School Forever film.
Hell yeah.
It's cringy as all
Classic.
get out, but I love it still the same.
It's some classic cringe, though. That stuff should be in a museum somewhere. I liked Corey Feldman's cringe pre-internet when you just saw him in like some shitty movie that you would never expect to see him in, and then that's all you had to hear from him was from him in that movie. I'm also kind of, I don't want to I don't know how to put it. I'm skeptical of some of Feldman's claims. I think a lot of it's him borrowing the Corey Haim story, like he does everything from Corey Haim and Michael Jackson, because every single podcast interview where he talks about the Limp Bizkit tour, he makes all these gay jokes about him and Fred Durst like having sex and stuff. And I don't know about you guys, but I know several survivors of SA, and you know how many of them make sex jokes all the time? Zero. So I don't know. It casts a little bit of a skeptical light on some of the shit that he says. But he's a known chameleon and a thief of people's story. I think a lot of the things that did happen. They just happened to Corey Haim, and he was aware of it and knew how to capitalize off of it.
Corey Haim was done dirty.
Dude's a fucking creep, legit. So if you can watch as little Corey Feldman stuff as possible, Brandon, that way you can still enjoy the Goonies without thinking about it, you're on the right track.
Like I say, I look at it like, the stuff I watch of his stuff is so cringe these days. I mean, like the most recent Lost Boys movie with old man Corey Feldman reprising his role in the Frog Brothers. But they did Corey Haim dirty, though. Corey Haim got done dirty. He deserved better.
apparently you can pay on, even though he'll go on a podcast and be all pissed that they want to talk about his old work and not his current stuff. You can pay Corey Feldman a couple $100 and he'll do a cameo with you as one of the Frog Brothers with the other Frog Brother. Make it make sense. I don't know. I think the guy is just made of cocaine anymore. So yeah, I don't know. On a brighter note, why don't we hop into some pickups and stuff? Let's get that out of the way, and then we'll run through the watch list. Hopefully by then, Brandon's trailer will have uploaded. We'll start with you, Cody. You got anything that you want to show off over there?
Yeah, I got a little
recent acquisitions.
I got a little stack. I've kind of slowed down a bit on acquiring just space issue wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I did get, I got a good box from SRS during that liquidation sale they did, which I got in on that. Like I only got that like a couple weeks ago. Like they were still running it. It took a while for it to get here, but they were still running it. And then I did like a MVD was doing, one of their sales, and I just bought horror movies that are only like 99 cents to $1.99 and got $40. And of course, none of them have been open. They're both still in their boxes, but someday. But I got these actually from a campaign shoot 2 or 3 years ago, and I finally got them in a week or two ago, and it is Killer Camp Out 1 and 2, both Brad Twigg movies, doing a Crack Coon, and he did Wrestle Massacre, Crackula, Meth Gator, like. But I mean, this Killer Camp Out, like he did the campaign for this a long time ago, and I didn't watch this one until I got both of them in. I watched them both. They're pretty good. He goes pretty good on the gore. Like the first one has Herschel Gordon Lewis doing the introduction, and like it's dedicated to him at the end of the movie. So I don't know if this was done right before he died. I'm not sure, but they are pretty good generic camp out slasher flicks with they don't cheap on the gore. So they were both pretty good. I enjoyed those. Bummed it took so long, but some of those campaigns are kind of hit or miss when they show up. This other one I actually got I don't know, several months ago, but I guess it came out through Wild Eye as Mrs. Claus, and I was having trouble finding it, so I'd reached out to the director, and I guess he had a version that he made before Wild Eye released it, and I guess cut some of it, which is kind of weird because Wild Eye doesn't really, cut anything, but I guess the original title for it was called Stirring. And it's
I get it, like from the poem or whatever.
Right. But I don't remember what he was working on that made me think of it, but I got this from him, and it's he also did Teacher Shortage. I'm trying to think of I don't remember what he was working on just now, but it was pretty fun. It was about a girl. It's like a sorority house, and this girl gets killed by like
What's up, Dominic?
Thing done, like a hazing.
Also, Mike McNally blessing the stream. Keep going, Cody. Just talk over me.
And then he, like the next year, Christmas time, someone starts killing the sorority sisters dressed up as Mrs. Claus. But I mean, it's not bad.
It's been a while, Dominic. We got to get you up in here soon. That sounds fun, Cody.
But yeah, I mean, it's got Brink Stevens in it. It's got Mel Heflin in it. It's got, some of the basics.
Oh, fuck, sold.
Yeah.
Dude, we should probably cover that come December.
So that was definitely a fun one. This will be, spoiler alert, my trailer, but I got in, of course, the Amazing Cocaine Werewolf.
Oh.
It looks sick, dude.
I mean, I give Filoni a lot of leeway because I know some of this stuff are sometimes really good and sometimes not so great. This one, like they had a bit of a budget, like Cleopatra Entertainment came out with it, like had a little theatrical run. I guess that production company is trying to come back again. Like they co-produced it with Sterling. But like the werewolf looks pretty good. Like I feel like they actually put some more budget into that one, so that's definitely a fun watch. And then, of course, last but not least, I got Amityville Bloodbath.
Okay.
So what's the difference?
That's so cool, dude.
That one and Blaze's earlier release.
I don't think, other than like the SRS doing like the main menu screen, I don't really think it's anything different. Like he basically just sent Ron what he had sent for Kanaki and just they made the artwork and everything. But if you look at it, I didn't notice it when it came out, but Amityville is spelled wrong on this. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the cover though.
Yeah, it is neat. This is the stuff I wish Sterling would still do, like that art stuff. But of course,
Sterling
probably do that.
He probably PO'd the artist that worked for him, and he tends to burn bridges a lot. I mean,
spending all that art money paying for those golden showers. I said what I said.
Actually, I've noticed that Psycho 8 2 is out. It's on eBay. I technically have it, but it's locked away because I'm reorganizing because of space issues, and so I said, you know what? I'm going to reorganize the whole collection, weed out all the stuff that I've got extra space that I can stick stuff that I don't need to get at right away. So anything that I don't love, like a good example, American Beauty. Can't get rid of it because it's important. Now it's in a
still
place
so weird to me that you don't like American Beauty. That seems like one of those movies you would love, dude. And kind of artsy, strange, dysfunctional shit, you know.
Yeah, but I was psyched. I was super psyched about Psycho 8 2. Now it's buried and I can't get at it. So I won't be able to watch it anytime soon, but I own it. I own Psycho 8 2.
I haven't seen the first one, but I heard they went a lot more nuts on the second one.
Oh, that first one was nuts. It was awesome. I love Psycho 8. It just kicks ass. I need to get a list of the films that you're going to be appearing in because you're in all these films, and I've got to save money to make sure I get all of them. I can't keep up with them.
Yeah, definitely would like to pick those up myself. It's a growing list for sure. We're proud of you, man.
Keep selling at little bits at a time. Every time I get another message from Ron saying, hey, 5 more. And I look at my Kanaki page and it's like, nope, we're not buying from that. We're just going to buy from. So, I've sold maybe 5 total off of Kanaki, and I've sold like 50 or more off of Ron. So it's kind of like,
there you go.
I make hardly
I got a couple pretty much all the rest of at least my horror and sci-fi pickups this round are thrift pickups. But I did get a couple of Big Lots stores and a little Wally World action here. I grabbed Westworld on Blu-ray. Fucking awesome movie here. Most people are familiar with the show. And I do like the show, but I'm partial to this movie, man. You got Yul Brynner up in there basically playing Cowboy Terminator, and he's just fucking terrifying the entire time. I'd put this, honestly, a little more in the category of a horror film than science fiction, just based on the way it plays out. It really is almost kind of a slasher movie or something. But, it's got all the sci-fi trappings and the setting and everything, so... And for those of you unaware, basically there's this futuristic world where they have like this Western theme park where, all the people inside it are robots. So you can basically go in there and do like some awesome sandbox shit and just do whatever you want. Good times, if you're into sort of strange science fiction and Yul Brynner being bald and awesome.
I've heard Big Lots has kind of been like upping their physical media, like maybe since Dollar Tree isn't doing it so much. I've seen a few people with videos showing that like Big Lots is getting quite a bit of stuff, and they've been doing like some good coupons, and I guess you can stack their coupons too, so you can get a good deal on a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of the spot now, man. Honestly, it's even better than going to like Walmart or any of those places looking for DVDs, because they have a mixture of like sort of mainstream stuff that you'd want, and then like independent releases and things like that too. Sort of the same thing that Dollar Tree had going on, but better quality,
Right.
And then, like you said, the savings is pretty crazy. This was just a VHS upgrade for years. I have just had that 1990s remake of Night of the Living Dead on VHS, and I needed it on some sort of a disc format. So I guess this will work until I can eventually get a Blu-ray of it. But this was like $4.50 at Big Lots, so why wouldn't I?
I need to get that.
And then the last of my big box pickups until we get to the last two items that aren't even really schlock related is this badass Roger Corman set from Walmart. This is in the 750 bin or whatever. It's got Deathstalker 1 and 2 on there, Barbarian Queen, and the Warrior and the Sorceress. So some classic sweaty buff dude fantasy flicks to check out. Those always pair nicely with some beer and popcorn.
Deathstalker 1 and 2 are worth it alone. Because those two.
Yeah, we're glad that you popped in, man. Fucking, we're happy as hell to be back doing this. I really needed this stuff, so stoked. Lots of good stuff coming in the future. Lots of classic cuts episodes we'll probably be having you on. We're actually doing a discussion for the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Sunday. So if you're interested, Dominic, hit me up on Facebook and I'll make sure that you get the link. What was that you were saying, Brandon? I'm sorry. That was poor timing on my part.
I was saying Deathstalker 1 and 2, definitely worth it right there. That's price of admission right there.
Yeah, that's 100% the reason that I bought it. And then the other two, I've never even seen. I might have seen Barbarian Queen at some point.
Is that the Oreo one, Brandon?
Yes.
How is it?
It is very sweet. As I was telling Mo before we got on the air, it's like, I don't know whether to like it or be disgusted by it. It's kind of in the middle ground there.
We have a Slurpee for it, and we just got in the cookies the other day, but we haven't got the sodas in yet.
I want to try the cookies. I really want to try the cookies, but I can't find any of those here. I can only find these. I saw at Target today.
That's the kind of shit that just, I don't know, it sort of repulses me a little bit, even the idea of it. It's like the mint Oreos. Like, what the fuck are you doing with the mint Oreos? Putting toothpaste in those things is supposed to be a joke, not something you pay money for. Like, 100% the genesis of that idea had to be someone that got the toothpaste prank done on them. And then they're like, oh, that's not half bad. And they just happened to work for Oreo or ended up working there. And then we get blessed with those abominations. I don't know. You can't account for taste, though. I mean, everybody's is different. When I bite into an Oreo, I want it to taste like an Oreo, Even the peanut butter ones kind of piss me off a little bit.
Oh, I've got the toffee ones right now, which has this English toffee center. And I have taken the Blue Bunny soft serve ice cream that they sell at the store. And I make basically my own blizzard from that. Much cheaper, but darned if it ain't tasty. I only allow myself on the weekends, but it was tasty.
That's some shit right there. That's playing that 4D chess, Just taking it and making your own blizzards at home. I don't know why I never think of things like that. I just overpay for things like that to be made by some teenager. So that's it for my first round of pickups there. I've got some other stuff, but I'll dive back into it periodically here. I guess, Brandon, show us some of that animated stuff that you picked up. I know he's got a fat stack of weeb shit over there.
Yeah, the animation is basically Right Stuff. Well, now it's Crunchyroll, which, boo, had a sale, so I went ahead and I got some stuff at the end of it. And then I have a couple of things. I got one schlock item out of the animated. And this is one because I watched it today, which was the Camp Blood 10, which is interesting that turned out to be a animated as well. But I don't know. This one, oddly enough, I do feel like this one did have a lot of potential. And it definitely felt more like 666 Part 2 than 666 Part 2 did, because it played hard off of the idea of the multiple clown killers, the cults, the kind of cursed mask type thing, which they brought up in the first 666. So I was, but there is one focus that Cody pointed out that yes, but as far as animation, I mean, shoot.
Let's not skirt around it. There's a bunch of piss play in the movie, I guess, and it opened some doors. It definitely got me thinking about certain people responsible for these things and how they definitely feel like the type of dude that would be into that. I don't know, man. If we can get the trailer to load, I really hope we can, because there's something disturbing about that stuff, that animation and the stuff that's taking place in it. The lips in the movie really bother me from what I saw in the trailer. Like, ugh. But
It's higher
I mean,
quality.
what's that?
It's higher quality than what I expected from Sterling.
Yeah, I'll say. I mean, it still looks like ass, but it looks like solid ass.
And then in true fashion, Camp Blood 10 is out before Camp Blood 9 is.
I still rank it higher than Camp Blood 4 and 5. But that's not hard. Matter of fact, I rank it higher than 3. The only ones, 666 Part 2 is the one that I'm on the fence about. I have to watch that again just to make sure, but it's in that same ballpark for me. The rest, though, everyone other than that, higher than this one.
There's something so odd about it. Like when you first were showing it off, and when I was first made aware of it, I was like, that sounds dumb. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna want to even bother watching that. But after seeing the trailer and just seeing how uncomfy it is, and the strangeness of that animation, I've got to see the whole thing now at this point. Piss playing all, I'm down. Why not?
There's no doubt this is schlock. There's no doubt in my mind.
For sure. Definitely in the spirit of the other
John
stuff.
Ward, though, he got to play the lead in the movie, so that's pretty cool.
See, and Cody, since you're wearing all the Pixar stuff, and you got the Pixar thing in behind you and all that stuff, I figured I'd throw out the Pixar thing. Disney, of course, as y'all probably know, they used to manufacture their own discs until the end of June, where they decided to stop doing so and farmed it out to Sony. Now, we've been worried because Sony said, well, we don't really believe that Blu-ray is the future. We believe digital is the future. And that's kind of scary. But they did have, I've seen my first Disney release through Sony, and that is Pixar's In and Out. Was it In and Out? Inside Out 2. In and Out's the burger place.
Yeah.
But I saw this on my birthday in theaters. And yes, that one does not count as schlock, but it is damn good. I am pretty sure that it will be my favorite animated film for the year by the end. It's just, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, and they surprised me. Pixar has been kind of lately, so I was just like, oh, really? You guys pulled out all the stops, all the writing stops, all the animation stops, everything.
So, the first one was real good. I did see that in the theater with my kid, and she wanted to go to this one. And unfortunately, just the way things worked out, we weren't able to have the funds for a theater trip till after it was out of the theater. But yeah, I was kind of bummed because, your kids are only still at that age where they request to go see those sorts of movies for so long, but the good thing is our theater runs like a, cheap movies for kids thing. And I imagine that'll show up on the roster for that in the fairly near future. So
for sure.
We'll be able to catch it for $5 on a Tuesday or something.
It'll be on Disney Plus soon enough, I'm sure. But usually they'll keep it off long enough to boost the Blu-ray sales. Disney hasn't totally given up on physical media, which is good. They just don't want to pay to manufacture it themselves.
Oh yeah, I still have Facebook, Dominic. It should still be the same thing. I believe we're still friends on there. So, yeah, I'll grab that message from you in a few. Unfortunately, my phone's tied up trying to upload Brandon's trailer right now, but
So the only other non-anime I have, which is one I know that you'll be stoked, Mo, because I'm sure you like this. It's classic. Last Unicorn. I upgraded that Blu-ray. Shout did an upgrade, and on the sale for on the Crunchyroll sale, it was less than $5. And I was like, I'll upgrade this because they went all out to upgrade the visuals, to make sure the colors popped more, to add a whole slew of bonus features to it. I'll do that for $5.
I could all day long. I need that, dude. I love The Last Unicorn. It is definitely one of the best animated features ever made, for sure. One of the best theme songs ever, too, man. It's that guy from, I think it's America, that does this theme song for it. It fucking slaps, as the kids say.
It's one of those pinnacle like classic American animations. We got My Hero Academia season 6 part 1, which also was on the sale. There's only one more season of this series left, so I'm kind of happy to just go ahead and get it. I really liked this series for comic book superhero like people who really like those types of things. This is a series that I really do think speaks to both American comic lovers and Japanese anime lovers at the same time.
Yeah, I can speak to that for sure. I haven't watched it much, but my kid was and kind of still is obsessed with it. And what I've seen of it, yeah, I feel that it's like you could be one of those people that doesn't like anime at all, but if you like the
Oh,
Marvel movies and shit, you're probably gonna like My Hero. It's solid stuff. It's
yeah,
done in the right spirit.
This one's one of the few that actually appeals to both crowds very well. So I need to get back into it. I've only watched the first 3 seasons and I got cut out.
It just so bums me out how they split those seasons up on those sets now, and they're like I think like $40 a piece or some shit like that. So was it Funimation that does that? The split sets?
Yeah, I hate that they split it up, but nowadays they'll just let them go out of print now, which I'm like, good lord. So these days it's almost like you better get it or you're not going to get it, which is sad.
Looks like Cody had to step away. I was about to bounce back to him there. Yeah, show a couple more, Brandon. Why not?
I got this, which is which was God, what was it? Love Live. Technically, this is the 3rd series of it. School Idol Club, Nijigasaki High. Essentially, this is probably more down Jacob's alley than mine, but I didn't mind the first season, and the second series was okay. Essentially, the first series is about the school that's basically running out of funding. They have to close the high school, so the girls in the school get together to form this idol group to try and get into this competition called Love Live, and if they win, they can get the school back. And then
that sounds like something I would fuck with too. I like that sort of shit.
So the first one's fun. The second one's like the competition's there, and now they're kind of like idol worship of the originals, and they want to follow in the footsteps. And I have no idea what this one's about, but I'm a completionist, and they were on sale for less than $20 a season.
Oh, there you go.
So I had to get them. And I've got 2 more left. I can throw them out, or do you want me to save them?
Save them for a few. Cody, you got any other pickups?
No, that's all I grabbed. I mean, I could get some more, but I mean, that's all I grabbed with me.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's up to you, bud. I got a few more here that we can look at. These are some thrift and pickups that I made. Or I guess not really. It's not really a thrift store. It's like a Korean market. You go in there and they sell like just a bunch of cheaply made home decor stuff. Like if you want to get a Buddha statue or like a random sweatshirt with skulls on it or, fucking dream catchers, any of that. So it's one of those sort of stores, It's in a little old school thrift mall called Small Mall. And I love it. I've been going there since I was probably 8. They're very much responsible for my love of like the Mill Creek multi-packs, which I got one of those in here. But the first one that really fucking surprised me, got it for $1, is Little Cory Gory.
Wow.
I think SRS put this out like not that long ago, a couple years back, but this is like an old school budget release of it, and I could not leave that behind. I'm sure the video quality on it is ass, but It's a cool oddity to have, you know. And then, of course, it being an Asian store, they have some multi-packs of Asian horror. These are Eastern horror collections from Deimos. We got this one here. It's got Magic of the Universe and Counter Destroyer. It looks like there's kind of a mix between like Filipino movies, Chinese horror films, you know, or Hong Kong horror films, and maybe some Japanese stuff. I don't know. And then this one's got Tales from the East and Return of the Evil Fox on it.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I've always sort of neglected Asian horror a lot, even with the modern stuff. But even the people that are into Asian horror, a lot of it is the more modern stuff. You know, they kind of got into it around the time of The Ring and The Grudge and followed it from there. And, you know, so you do see some of like a few 80s Asian horror flicks that get a lot of love, but it's mostly the 90s and onward, I feel like the vast majority of the fandom. So finding these weird ones that look like they're from the early 80s or the late 70s, it's just neat. You know, I figure if I'm going to start becoming more educated on Asian horror, it doesn't hurt to, you know, go the distance with it. And then I got this guy here. It's well, it's not actually Mill Creek, it's the Brentwood Home Video or whatever, but they're basically the same goddamn thing. You know, it's even got the same sort of cover art design that those Mill Creek boxes have. This is the Space Odyssey collection. You got shit in there like Slipstream and Abraxas, Creature, Laser Mission, Alien Species, Eyes Behind the Stars, Cosmos, War of the Planets, Voyage to a Prehistoric Planet, They Came from Beyond Space, and War of the Robots. And you know they're going to be presented in like butchered aspect ratio, real horrible video quality, but when you get 10 movies for $1, you can't really complain. Some of those are legitimately fucking classic flicks, though, especially Abraxas and Creature. Creature is a much better movie than Abraxas, but Abraxas is one I've been wanting to cover on here for some time, so we will eventually get to that. It's terrible. You got Jesse Ventura in there as a man sent down to Earth with a badass rat tail ponytail, and he's just trying to, you know, stop this lady from getting impregnated by this other fucking dude that is also like a big buff guy that used to appear in wrestling stuff. So, I mean, if that doesn't just sound like a good time, I don't know what to tell you. You should check out Abraxas immediately. That's it for that round. If you want to show your last couple, Brandon, we can do that.
Oh yeah.
And we'll jump into our watch list.
I got one more I can show off. That is a preview for anybody watching. Who will watch one of the next pickup me and Jake do. Who knows when that'll be, because we're spending almost all of our time versus awards filming. We've got a lot of filming left to do and a lot of editing. But I picked up this real cheap for about $10, which was the Irresponsible Captain Taylor OVA. This is a space saver because I do have it. I don't really like this particular part of the series. It's a space anime. It's about this dude who gets somehow assigned the title captain when he really has no business doing it. And he turns out, of course, to be a fairly good captain. That's how it is. But the first season is very amusing. It's very comedic. It's very good. This OVA is, which I'll put it up there a little bit, is much more serious. And it doesn't work when you play the comedic guy off serious. But the original OVA box that I have for the DVD is like that thick.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So, you know, I mean, this is a no-brainer. I would have upgraded the other one to the new Blu-ray release, but it sold out like that. Just
Those old school box sets were like exciting at the time, but yeah, as your collection grows, you find that it's infuriating. I still need to upgrade my Stargate sets because I have those old school fucking thick box sets, and you got 9 of those on a shelf. It's pretty much all you can put on that particular shelf is Stargate, you know. It's a problem. I could probably have like, yeah, I don't know, 50 or 60 more discs on that shelf if I had the sets just slimmed down to like that much shelf space, you know.
Well, I got a little Omake series called Gundam San, which also, that was extremely cheap. And I like it when they do these little comedic versions of the more serious series like that. which is what this is little comedy moments. Looks like from Gundam Wing, from the one dude in the mask. But I'm not a big Gundam person. I've got a couple of Gundam series, but I couldn't help myself because I like those little comedy ones and was there. But let me show you all something. And I'm going to put the top on this because otherwise, if I accidentally knock it over, it's going to be a problem. But I want to show you all what this looks like. This was the biggest thing I got on that sale. Ugh, if I can get by here to get it. What was that? Oh, okay. Oh, boy. This thing is a heavy boy.
Holy shit.
Wow.
That is the Code Geass.
God damn, dude. What the fuck is in that? Just
a weapon.
Wow.
I thought it was going to be like smaller because I've had the biggest one I have right now, box set wise, is that coffin set from what was that? That vampire series.
Oh yeah, I know.
Subspecies.
Oh no, it's a. It's like an old school vampire drama, Dark Shadows, the original Dark Shadows, all 1,200 episodes. That one is bigger than any of the box sets I've ever had. It was originally $450. Now I know why. Only made 3,000 copies. And much like that Empire box set, apparently they're having trouble selling it at the price point that they originally did. So they marked it down more than 50%. I was like, you know what? If anything, this will be worth something one day. It can't be that big, right? And I'm wrong. But it has both seasons of the series, which is 50 episodes right there. It has the OVA series, which is a nice series there. And then it has the 4 movies, which that's not bad. You're getting a lot in that. And it also comes with a chessboard and chess set and your typical like extras that you come with.
Yeah, I assumed it would have some trinkets,
But that series is really good. It's a mecha series. It's about these guys in this kind of medieval / futuristic type land. And they're going through a lot of war. And this one dude basically gets the power to make really powerful suggestions in people's minds and uses it in order to make himself this tyrant. And you follow him as the main protagonist, even though he's...
That's neat.
There are some very twisted scenes in there that make Game of Thrones look tame.
I've heard good things about it. It's one of those, it's got a decent amount of fandom to it, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like mainstream popular, but it's definitely seems to be popular amongst anime fans, So it's one I've been curious about for a bit.
The original sets I've got here, which has the these are the original DVD sets, and then I had the movies and this was the OVA set, and one of these is the movie trilogy right here, which was Steelbook. And this was the 4th movie, also Steelbook.
There you go.
I'm gonna either sell or they'll make good Christmas gifts. But still, normally on this stuff, once I get once I've gotten all my stuff back together, I used to have a whole bunch of stuff I could show off that was just like easily available, and I could just gear it towards the more schlocky end. But no, not right now.
Those pickups that I brought, I mean, these I got like months ago at this point. I haven't really been buying movies, but there is like a pretty decent list of stuff from the last year or so that I've been meaning to pick up. So hopefully in the future I'll have a bunch of schlock to show off. I think I did pretty good with this little haul here.
Yeah.
Last few items aren't really schlock or even in the same category. Even the first two films in that, Night of the Living Dead and Westworld, they're kind of adjacent. Uh, but I grabbed this. It's just a budget release of that. Robert Rodriguez, like El Mariachi trilogy or whatever. It's got El Mariachi, Desperado, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico in it. I used to have like a not much nicer box set because the box set they did back in the day was pretty budget as well. It was just the movies and like slim pack cases inside of a sleeve. But at some point, I fucking lent that to someone and it never came back. So all I had was like a cheapo sort of blockbuster DVD of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. But now I've got them all again, so I can at least marathon them. I'd like to get them on Blu-ray at some point with some special features or something.
They are releasing on Blu-ray. I just don't remember what boutique company is doing it. But one of the boutique companies I know, I can't remember whether it was Shout or Arrow or one of them, is doing the trilogy. I want to say in 4K, but as they do. But that would make the music and so on in those series, especially the first two, would make some amazing sound on Blu-ray quality. Get that on a speaker. Oh yeah.
Dude, they really missed an opportunity to put it out in like a guitar case. That would have been a cool way to release the box set. Not like a full size guitar case, but you know what I mean. It would have been cool to make the box set look like his guitar case and maybe have some other extras in there. I don't know what you would put in there, but stuff. Love those movies, man. For the longest time, Desperado was my favorite because it was the first one that I saw. But honestly, I think Once Upon a Time in Mexico has graduated to being my favorite of the three. I love them all, but that one's just so fucking insane. And Johnny Depp is an absolute treat throughout the entire movie. Which is so crazy. The trilogy centers around Antonio Banderas' character. He doesn't play the dude in the first one, but he does in the Desperado and Once Upon a Time. But Once Upon a Time is just Johnny Depp steals the fucking show. So if you're a Johnny Depp fan and you haven't seen that movie, get out there and check it out. This movie, a lot of people talk shit on it and have always kind of just dismissed it, but I think it's fantastic, and that's Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. I saw this in the theater when it released, and much like everybody else, I was disappointed that it wasn't really a Final Fantasy movie, but at the same time, immediately loved it because it's just an absolutely epic sci-fi flick, and I'm honestly shocked at how well the animation still looks today. But that's Square Enix for you. At the time, they had a lot of money to throw at something like this, and they definitely threw as much of it as they could without impacting their game development. And it paid off, man. I mean, you watch this, even on this fucking DVD version, you watch it on a nice, crisp TV, it's going to look amazing still to this day. I can only imagine what it would look like on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever. I don't know if a release such as that exists for this movie because, again, it's kind of, dismissed. I think Squaresoft would probably like it if it never happened in a lot of ways, but I'm glad that it did because I enjoy it quite a bit. And then I went ahead. Oh, good. Sorry.
I was just looking because you reminded me. I think I upgraded mine. Nope, mine's also the DVD version. But it's sad though. That's a decent one. I also saw it in theaters.
It deserves a Blu-ray. It really does. It would, or at least a Blu-ray. But I would say even a 4K release would be cool. Just make it look as fucking dope as possible because it wouldn't be hard to clean it up and just keep making it look better. I think it looks probably as good as Advent Children almost. And Advent Children they did like years later, but man, I mean they already kind of perfected their CGI way back even doing the PlayStation games. I mean some of those cutscenes on those games still look really good.
Yep.
So yeah, they always knew how to do that. And then my final pickup here is just the Jackass 7 movie collection. I only had like the first two Jackass movies. This was in the $7.50 bin at Walmart, and I said, fuck it. It's also got the Bad Grandpa movies on there. It's basically, Jackass the movie unrated, number 2 unrated, then you got 2.5, 3, 3.5, and then Bad Grandpa and Bad Grandpa 0.5 or whatever, like how they do those. So I've only revisited the first two out of it. Jackass is something that I always have a soft spot for it, and I'll always find it funny, but I'm very rarely in the mood for it nowadays, But it was just such a good deal, I couldn't pass it up, and now I don't have to worry about buying the other ones. There was another set that you could get that had all of these in it, but instead of the Bad Grandpa movies, it was Jackass Forever. But I didn't like that one enough to choose it over that set there because I needed the Bad Grandpa movies as well. So I think I made the better choice. So yeah, unfortunately, Brandon, your trailer did not upload and my phone started to overheat. I'm using this. I suspect it's really down to the fact that I'm using this junky burner phone, like spare that I had laying around that's already kind of broke. But it's what I had to put my SIM card into because my other phone got trashed when I flipped the kayak. It's a long story, guys, but it's an interesting time. But I don't know if you have the ability to like screen share it.
Yeah, I could
we
do
could
that.
get that set up.
Yeah, I just gotta get that, and all I gotta do is find the trailer tube.
I feel like Jackass Forever was good for nostalgia, but it was very much like here's a bunch of new people that nobody knows anything about, and they're going to do most of the stunts because we don't want to do them anymore.
Pretty much, dude. They waited too long to make it, and then they ended up doing it during the pandemic. Another one of my gripes was like all the public prank stuff. You could pretty clearly tell that it was completely staged, whereas when you grew up watching Jackass and are familiar with how the public prank stuff felt, you could tell the difference between a real prank and some fake shit. And the ones in the new movie felt like the type of fake pranks that you see on like TikTok, where it's clearly everybody's involved in the prank. It's not really a prank, it's a skit, But it had some good stuff in it. And like you said, it was a fun, nostalgic sort of send off. But in my opinion, Jackass 3 is the final one. Like that's it. You'd be forgiven if you never even bothered to watch Forever because it's I don't know. And not having Bam involved, I'm not one of those people that's like sour at them about it. I fully understand it, but it just did feel weird. It was already bad enough not having Ryan Dunn there because he died, but not having Bam involved for such a stupid reason just also did sour the movie a little bit for me. Because they replaced him with like just such random new people too. It would have been a lot cooler if they brought back some of those sort of adjacent crew members from back in the day that were not necessarily full-time Jackass people, but they like hung around the crew a bunch and would be in the occasional segment.
Or bring back some of the CKY guys.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, those guys, and then some of the adjacent friends. Fuck, even Matt Hoffman just doing some of the stuff with them would have been cool. I'd rather had Matt Hoffman hanging around as like part of the group than the random chick and those two kids that they got involved. Though Poopies has grown on me since the movie. Because that guy is just pretty fucking gnarly, that Poopies dude. But that kid that they got involved in, that girl, just don't really add anything to it too. Poopies is the only one of the three new people that felt like he fit.
I did see when Blaze and I went to Oklahoma, so we get one HorrorCon a year, and Bam was scheduled to be there. And of course, the big thing was, is he going to show up? I mean, he was hours late, but he was there. Like he had a pretty good line, and it was mostly just people getting like buying skate decks from him and having him sign it. But I mean, like the girl he was with looked, maybe 30 pounds soaking wet, like just looked very, very methy. He seemed okay, like of course sunglasses on the whole time, but I mean, I guess I know he's been up and down on sobriety and not sobriety, and I mean, of course everyone wants him to come through on the other side, and he's gotten chances. Like I've gone down, the Jackass 4 rabbit hole and the stuff with Bam and like, him being on Steve-O's podcast, and then Steve-O took him out on tour for like a week or so, and then
he fucked it up. Yeah, I
but
mean,
also, I mean, if you're a guy that struggles with sobriety, like, do you really want to bring him to something like that where it's like, I know, like, I saw Steve-O on that thing he was doing, and it was, I mean, it's very much a clip show. Like, he goes out there and, you know, talks about setting up this, and then clip, he goes away and then sets up the next one. Like, it was cool to see. It was cool to see Steve-O. Got to do the meet and greet afterwards. I mean, that was neat. But I mean, like, that environment, like, it's at comedy clubs and bars and stuff like that, where
yeah,
if you're a guy that's trying to stay clean and you're around a bunch of people that are partying and love you and want you to party with them, like, how do you turn that down that early on in that kind of a situation?
one, why would you even offer it? I mean, that's something on Steve-O's part where it's like, dude, a little self-awareness. Like, you know, not everybody is just able to jump right into sobriety and get addicted to making money like you. Like, obviously, Bam is still struggling with it. So why would you even invite your friend that's in that sort of a place in his life out on the road, knowing full well what that is going to encourage?
Right.
I mean, it's a wild situation, but Steve-O's kind of got that holier than thou, like, you know, he's the hardcore AA guy that is became sober and preaches about it all the time. But really, in reality, he's just replaced that addiction with an addiction for making money, um, which, you know, isn't necessarily destructive to himself or other people, but it can still be a problem as well. I mean, Steve-O's gotten some shit over the last couple of years about that kind of stuff. And to his credit, he's usually, because of, I think, what he went through to get sober, he's, you know, willing to take a look at it and be honest about it. But yeah, I found the whole thing gnarly that he would have even invited Bam on the road, you know.
Which
But
I've gone on that too. Like, I remember when, I mean, we're all about the same age, so I remember, you know, being in high school when Jackass came out, and then, you know, you remember watching like Comedy Central and MTV at night, and they would show like infomercials slash like Girls Gone Wild videos, but they would always show those Steve-O Don't Try This at Home DVDs.
yeah,
or bum fights. Like, I remember buying the Steve-O DVDs, and like I recently rewatched those, and like I've watched multiple times. It's only on YouTube, but as they did on MTV, and it was Steve-O, The Demise and Rise. You know, and it was about, like, you know, when he converted his apartment to like a skate park and was
skate
doing like
park,
those
yeah.
little CO2 cartridges and just like rapid fire doing them, and like he recorded everything, so it was like him recording himself just doing all this stupid stuff. And like when he was trying to be a rapper and trying to get arrested so he could be on TMZ, and it would help with his rapper credit, and just like, it's, if y'all haven't seen it, like, it came out probably, I don't know, 2004 or something, but it's
Yeah, it's
called,
pretty old, but
yeah,
it's worth a watch. Yeah.
it's about an hour long. It's on MTV, or it's on YouTube, because it only aired on MTV. And it's talking about like when they did one of the 24-hour takeovers of MTV for like Jackass 2 or something, and like they literally had to throw him off the thing. And they're talking about like it's pretty bad if you get thrown off a Jackass set back then, just because of how whacked he
Right.
was.
Yeah, it's insane, and it's insane where he's at now. Like, there was that whole thing earlier this year where Steve-O and Bill Maher kind of had a not beef, but Steve-O was like talking shit about it because Bill Maher wanted him to come on Bill Maher's podcast, you know. And Steve-O was like, "Yeah, but I mean, would you mind like not smoking weed when I'm there or whatever? Because I'm sober now." And Bill Maher stood on his shit. You know, he's like, "No, that's what we do here is we smoke weed and talk." You know, so no, I'm not gonna not smoke weed because you're sober. And Steve-O had a little tissy fit about it and was talking shit about him on his podcast. But it's like, goddamn, Steve-O. I mean, how many times do people ask you to show up to things not obliterated? And you just did that over and over again, you know. Or you imagine like how weird it is too that I believe he did like that Mike Tyson's podcast, and he did the Hot Box one, I think, with what's it, Snoop Dogg or whatever. There's several podcasts he went on where people were smoking weed, and he didn't have a problem with it at the time. But you know, now that, I don't know, it's just dumb. It's like, I don't know, that's a big ask, Steve-O, especially for some fucking like gnarly critter like yourself to expect anybody to not be or to be sober around you when you have like such a history of not being sober at any time when you were supposed to be, you know.
I just remember
Ballsy
that
move
scene from
asking Bill Maher not to smoke weed on his own podcast. I mean,
I remember his
I don't
Hot
think the response
Ones
was
interview.
surprising.
He did that
What's
Hot
that?
Ones interview where he actually was advertising his hot sauce, and he advertised it by pouring it directly into his eyes. And then he automatically said, "You know what? I think that was a mistake when I did that." I'm like, "Oh no shit!" But see, I wasn't like y'all. I looked at the Jackass stuff, but I was also a little bit older when that came out. I'm the old man, I guess, in the group. But so I was looking. I was like, "Nah, that's a little bit too early college for me." Though by the time Bad Grandpa came out, I was having more appreciation for that stuff. So maybe I would watch the Jackass films today and enjoy them. But I did like Bad Grandpa, and I liked the work that he did on the documentary HBO did on Action Point, which he did the Action Park movie, which I need to see that because that place,
It's fun.
that place was something.
What Class Action Park, something like
that documentary though, that was a really good documentary.
Yeah.
That showed how
It really is, man.
is. But that was the generation, the late Gen Xers and the older millennial generation were the last generation that were not treated like with like kid gloves with cellophane around them. And we got hurt and did some stupid stuff as kids and teenagers.
Dude, it sounded like it would have been so fucking fun working at that theme park too. Just the Wild West, no adult supervision, and the adults that were around are all fucked up too. Like it had to have been such a wild time. Like it would be such a bummer, I think, going back to school after a summer working at that place.
Oh my.
I will say I think I like the documentary more than the movie.
I haven't seen the movie, but I have
too.
There. But the documentary was freaking awesome. If that one had a physical release, I would get that documentary because it's cool to see something like that. I mean, you don't see a park where some dude just like, you know what would look really cool is a water slide where it just goes right around like that, big old loop-de-loop. What do you mean they're losing their teeth in the water slide? Oh, who cares? Let's just get them faster. It'll work.
Dude, if you like, I already know you just like a solid documentary, but those Dickhouse dudes, the Jackass guys, also did a really good one on Evel Knievel, if I remember right. And then they have a really good one that they did on Matt Hoffman, who's like a pro BMXer from back in the day. But it's a good enough documentary that even if you're not especially into BMX, it's still cool to watch, you know.
Oh, Hoffman.
He's sort of the Evel Knievel of BMX.
The fellow Okie.
What's that?
Matt Hoffman's from Oklahoma.
So I think of him in the
Yeah, I think you gotta be from states like that to jump bicycles like that and shit, you know, like he really was, I think, the last of the true daredevils with BMX, you know. There's people that do crazy shit on them still, but Matt Hoffman would just jump like fucking 70 feet in the air. You know? That's his whole thing, and then just getting his body shattered and then just figuring out how to do it. Now I think most of those guys try not to get hurt, you know. Which is what makes a documentary interesting, right? Like it's about one of those sort of fringe maniacs, like an Evel Knievel, where the amount of bones they've broken is almost a point of pride. All right, so we got some watch list stuff to talk about. First up, we do have Cody's trailer for Cocaine Werewolf. You did a pretty good job of plugging it, but is there anything else you wanted to say about that film before we run that trailer?
I mean, not really. Like what I said, like there's varying levels of Polonium movies. I mean, as many as that guy rolls out, they're not all going to be the best. But I mean, I usually tend to give him a little wiggle room. But I mean, this one you could tell they put some effort into it. They put some budget into it, and it's definitely a fun movie.
It looks it, dude. I did watch the trailer because I had to upload them. And I was getting pretty hyped at the store when I was first recording it. It looks like something that I need to see. I'm pretty leery of a lot of these ones that have the drug titles or whatever. Not because I'm anti-drug, obviously, but a lot of them haven't been turning out to look like very good. But this one and Crackoon are two that I definitely need to see. So here it is, guys. Cocaine Werewolf.
I can't wait till my copy of Doom comes in from the what are they called? The Kickstarter, Indiegogo, whatever the heck it was. The cover is what told me on that one. This one looks fun though.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check it out.
I love the song. Gives me the Munsters theme vibes, like when they did one for Sharkula too. So I love when they in these Polonian movies when they get like an original song done. Like it's.
Yeah, I remember I did the Sharkula dance in the last thing for that for one of those Versus awards for it. But actually, the Cocaine Shark was. But if it was what it sounded like, it would have been probably good. But Narco Shark, which was a better title, would have this. I think that's a good example. I mean, you showed us during during our time here that modern Polonia can still be very fun with that Sasquatch, that house squatch. That was really good.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I feel like it's probably there's some ratio to it. Probably one out of the 5, 1 out of 10 Colonia flicks is going to be solid and kind of fit right in with their older library of stuff where they put in more effort on a more regular basis. That definitely looks like one that needs adding to the collection for sure.
I don't know if you noticed they have the Children of Camp Blood mask in that trailer.
Yeah, it's up in there, and it's got what's her name, Jamie Morgan.
Yeah.
Always like seeing her in flicks. Is it available to stream anywhere? That's a good question that people will probably want to know.
I don't think for free yet. I'm sure it'll be on Tubi probably pretty soon. But I got the Blu-ray from Amazon. It was like $13.
They're usually not very expensive.
Yeah.
And Polonius does like to get his stuff.
Yeah,
I've noticed that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like with I don't know if you guys
you can rent. Go ahead, sorry.
And I don't oh god, I forgot now. Oh, I don't know if you guys have done anything with Fossum, but Polonia is getting a bunch of stuff on Fossum also. And it's like if you have a Roku TV, it's really easy to navigate.
Oh yeah.
Like I've got my upstairs TV, the Roku TV, and it's fine, but like trying to get Fossum to work downstairs is just a nightmare.
Yeah, I've got Roku.
Well, I'll look into that. I think my bedroom TV is Roku TV, maybe.
Because that one's got the Like they were popping movies out on that wasn't even announced yet. Like the last Chainsaw Massacre that Polonia did, which is very much just a very very knockoff Texas Chainsaw. But I mean stuff that wasn't even announced popping up on there, like Amityville Turkey Day is already on Tubi, and they didn't even know. Like supposedly, these people didn't even know when when it's supposed to show up. So I don't know if they send it to them, and it's just up to them to list it or not. But it seems like Fossum is trying to pick up some of the slack that Tubi's doing with not using as much indie horror, and they're trying to go more towards Tubi original and kind of mainstream stuff. So it seems like
I have noticed that when I've been on there, man, and it's a pain to even find the indie horror, even when you are on there. Like, it's not in the normal categories it used to be in.
Yeah.
It's not listed in comedy or horror. And it's like, well, what the fuck? Is it not tagged to show up in any of these searches on here? Like, it's hidden at the back end, it feels like. It's a shame because they used to be such a beacon, such a safe house for that kind of stuff, where people, and it was put out there right on the front of it, like check out this shit.
Yeah.
But now you log into it and it feels like it's trying to be like Shudder or something with the horror selection.
I think that
that's what
Tubi lost its way, in my opinion, because Tubi was the ultimate home of that. I think it was Steve Rudz. I was trying to think, who was it that was like, we really need to have like a lot of these indie creators need to get together, see if they can figure out the model, and then just make an indie channel where you can just have all of the indie crap streaming. It's like, if you got a crappy little movie, just put it on there. And if you wanted to start putting donating to the thing or regular, then you might be able to pull a fee from some of the advertisers later on. But otherwise, just some place where people can just dump all the indie movie stuff, like indie horror, low budget stuff. But I remember, gosh, I was talking with Steve Rudzinski about it, and he had said, like, yeah, we've tried that lots of times. A lot of other creators have tried, but it's just so expensive and so hard to get something like Tubi started. And it's very disappointing that Tubi's also starting to be like too good for it. Because I was trying to get Shackle Demon on Tubi, and they were like, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. And so now I handed it off to a guy who may or may not get it anywhere. And I remember telling Kyle, I was like, sorry, man, I'm only one man. I'm not a professional. And they usually only want to deal with the big guys. So I handed it off to somebody. If he wants to get on there, that's but they are just they're not as fun to play with as they used to be.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I knew something was going on when my app updated and it had that new disgusting makeover that they did to 2B2, where they changed the logo and changed everything to make it just look fucking icky. And it's a pain in the ass to search through now. You pretty much have to find everything in the people also watched category when it comes to the indie horror. I was trying my hardest to get a badass master list going, and I still am, but it's just an issue of finding it through non-direct means, whereas it used to be just sort of almost right on the front page of Tubi was that kind of stuff. So RIP, I guess. I don't see them coming back from it. I mean, obviously they're doing what they're doing because it's benefiting them somehow, but
more important stuff for the really and truly more important stuff for having physical media. You know what? I might change, since I'm going to be throwing it on a YouTube trailer anyway. I might change up my watch list one, because I already talked about that horrid Camp Blood thing. Because I did have
no problem.
that Schlock one, so I'll put that in there, and when we're ready for it, I can actually.
All right. Well, we can run mine real quick. So I watched a few things this past week. I got a viewing of Dark Knight of the Scarecrow in, which is a fantastic made-for-TV 80s slasher flick. I don't even know if I would call it a slasher flick. It's more of a no, I mean, I guess the kills are executed like slasher kills. There's just really no blood involved because it was a TV movie, but still some bone-chilling shit going on. Basically, old Larry Drake from Darkman and, Dr. Giggles and shit plays this, mentally challenged fella that gets accused of a murder. So the evil mailman and a bunch of other town folks, like, shoot him while he's trying to hide from them in this scarecrow get up, like he makes himself look like a scarecrow, and then it's one by one they're getting bumped off through the movie. That makes it sound a lot more simple than it is. There really is like a cool, you know, whole idea of like karma and bad vibes that you put out there being revisited on you for being a piece of shit, kind of a thing in the movie. Some genuinely creepy stuff. I guess it was originally supposed to be just independently produced, but CBS ended up optioning it and, funding it or whatever. And they really didn't even make them change anything from the script. So the movie still feels like a proper movie. And then the cast is pretty superb as well. So, and they're all delivering great performances. So it doesn't feel like a TV movie. Uh, the only thing about it that might make you notice that it is one is the fact that all the kills don't have any gore involved. But definitely worth checking out. You could stream that on Tubi. I got a revisit of The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which is another old school slasher flick. It's based on a true story and is kind of plays out as like a reenactment of the true story as opposed to a traditional film. And I think that adds a cool quality to it. It's like you're watching a really well done extended version of like an Unsolved Mysteries reenactment or something. And that movie always fascinates me too, because when it came out, the people in Texarkana were like pissed about it because it reminded them of the actual real events, and they're all pretty faithfully portrayed, like true to the facts in the movie as well. And that particular serial killer was never caught or whatever. So, he quite literally is still out there, and that's what they used to advertise the movie. And the locals were all pissed, but then years later, it's became a tradition in the town to play it as part of their like family movies in the park event during Halloween or whatever. Yeah. Like that's the last movie that they play as part of the event every year. Which is cool. It's but also still pretty morbid in a way. Like the whole town gathers to watch, this fucking movie that depicts these crazy murders that happen locally. Like that's unlike anything I've ever heard of. But good stuff, classic flick. Always recommend it. It's by the same guy that did Legend of Boggy Creek, which is also kind of a faux documentary, depiction of real events type thing. So if you want a good Bigfoot slasher double feature, just run Boggy Creek and Town That Dreaded Sundown back to back. But the main one that I chose for my watch list trailer is Onyx, the Fortuitous, and the Talisman of Souls. So we're going to run the trailer real quick, then we'll talk a little bit about this shit.
Marcus Trilberry can't catch a break.
Order up, number 46.
At his work, he gets no respect.
What, Marcus? I was just wondering if you got my new name tag in yet? Because this says Marquay Dickberry.
At his home, he gets no love.
I could understand if your father was still in the house, but this is Tom, your stepfather, and my lover.
And with his friends, he doesn't have any. But all he needs is a chance.
Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
I've been invited to Bartok's mansion to take part in a once-in-a-lifetime ritual in which he, along with 5 of his most loyal followers, will attempt to raise the spirit of the ancient demon, Abaddon.
You're not going anywhere until you scoop that litter box.
Now he's off on an adventure.
Is the ritual going to work? Shall we relate to the talisman?
I'll find the prison. The queen. The Viking. A werewolf. The witch. And you. are the virgin.
What the?
When it's the end of the world, a new hero must rise.
Patty Slinger?
When in doubt, skewer it out.
In the grimoire, after the ritual of Abaddon, there was a warning. Beware the prophecy of fortuitous one.
What? What?
What?
Marcus Trilberry and the
I'd really love it if you called me Onyx. The Fortuitous?
Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Oh, hey. What are y'all doing in here?
Oh, that
Honestly,
sounds fun.
What's that?
I was just saying that sounds fun.
Oh, dude, that trailer nowhere near does it justice. I mean, it is one of the funnest horror comedies I've seen in ages. Maybe since like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, even. Uh, as far as modern stuff, I would put it up there, right up there with any of the shit we love, Velocipaster, Thanksgiving, any of that shit. But it's like on a way higher quality level than that stuff. Um, yes, technically you could say it's like a YouTube movie. Not really, but the dude that is the main guy in the movie is like a comedy personality on like YouTube and maybe TikTok, but I don't know if that was just his stuff getting like cut up and put on there. But the difference being is that from my memory of his, social media presence, it was always just him in like a quick clip where he was playing like a Burger King employee doing a fake interview with the news. Or the one where I found out about him from was, I forget what city it was out east, but there was some city that like their local chapter of the Satanic Church had somehow got the funds together there to have like this badass statue of Baphomet put up in town. And so there was all these people protesting it and all these like edgy goth kids coming out to see it. And he like spliced himself into the interview segments with the news when they were out there covering it. And so he's playing like basically his character from this movie being interviewed by the local news about the Church of Satan and the statue of Baphomet. And it's just quality stuff, just fun internet skits. But this movie it's executed in a way where you don't have to have any prior knowledge of the dude. Like the character just fits in with the tone of the movie. So if you never knew that this guy did YouTube videos or whatever, you would think he was just a quirky character that was invented for this movie. And it works, man. It's simultaneously a tribute to like all things horror, a little bit of D&D and 80s pop culture thrown in there. Some quality, fun creature effects. Like, I wouldn't say that anything in it looks super realistic because that's not really the vibe that it's going for. Like all the monsters and the ghouls and the zombies in the movie kind of all look like perfect live action depictions of like Goosebumps style artwork. So it's got a lot of fun layers to it that dudes like us that are into the types of shit that we're into would enjoy. And I think his character is just fun to watch go on like a full-length adventure like that. And you might not think that watching those old YouTube clips because they're all in like a minute and a half, 2-minute segments of him doing fake news interviews. But the fact that he's able to get into the character so hard that he could do a full-length movie is pretty impressive. I said it when we were talking off air the other day, but like as far as if you wanted to consider this a YouTube movie, it's kind of the level of quality that we hoped the angry video game nerd movie was going to be, And then that movie just ended up being like an unfun turd. But this Onyx the Fortuitous movie is fucking top tier. I think both of you guys would like it. I think most people into this kind of stuff would like it, whether they're familiar with his character or not. So definitely worth checking out. Also available to stream on Amazon Prime. And to answer the question earlier, Cocaine Werewolf is not available to stream for free, but you can rent it on Google Play and Fandango for $4. And that definitely seems like it would be worth a $4 rental. So something to think about, folks. Brandon, you got a trailer to present to us this evening.
You'll
And
have
then we'll
to
plug our future endeavors and close this bitch out.
pull up the share screen thing there, and I'll bring that to full screen. All right, and
Holly is a no-nonsense accountant. Jay is a toy maker with a heart of gold. But they both love Christmas. Can that love bring them together? Help! This season, it's going to be curtains for Christmas.
all right, there it goes. Did the sound come through okay?
Yep.
That was the new Steve Rudzinski film. I've actually had to say that person. I've seen all of his films, and the only one I didn't like was one that was similar to this one, which was Red Christmas, because it was torture porn. But it had enough to it that it was much better than some of the torture porn movies I've seen, like Jawbreaker or something like that I will never watch again. This one was a little bit better than that, because it's basically about this woman that is definitely out of her head, to where she starts talking to this imaginary, what was it? It wasn't a penguin. It was an imaginary, basically, being that was dressed up as some sort of mascot character. Almost reminded me of something from Carousel. And she just goes around and just starts slaughtering everybody that basically offends her and makes some very bad decisions. Falls in love with Steve Rudzinski's character and wants to present the perfect Christmas, so she kidnaps a family and makes them pretend to be her family to impress him for a dinner. But her propensity to kill people at the drop of a hat tends to make things more complicated. I thought it was actually really good. I think it's not as good as some of the previous stuff that I've seen from him. I mean, it was hard to top Carousel 3, which was the last one I saw from him prior. But this one's fun. I'm going to probably watch it again around Christmas time once I dig it back out of my pickups box. I supported on the Kickstarter that he did. Like I say, I have not seen a film yet in his catalog that I haven't enjoyed at some level. Like I say, even Red Christmas, after watching it over for the second time, and seeing a lot of his other stuff that connects to it, there's a lot that I got out of it that makes it not a movie I hate, which is good.
Right. It's not a genre you typically prefer, but it's got enough redeeming qualities that you don't hate it, which says something.
He rolled that one out pretty quick too, didn't he?
Which one?
Curtains for Christmas.
He got it out in about a year, maybe a little bit less. But he's very good about. I will say this: I've worked with a lot of them. I still have not gotten my copy of Amityville Turkey Day yet.
I haven't either.
But I will say, I mean, I bought a copy because I wanted to support you by having it. I just figured, well, they probably just ran off with it. But I've never been on a Kickstarter that he's done that he's not delivered like as quickly as humanly possible. He's almost there, and plus, I mean, he's actually the director is going to be a presenter on the Versus Awards this year. And he's going to, and he got some people to do some acceptance speeches for me that were associated with the movie. So, decent enough guy, though he does really love his cosplay.
I was thinking, I thought we had him on the show, but we didn't. But then he posted, didn't he comment like a big old thing answering?
Yeah.
All our stuff.
You went all out, yeah. He was clearly pretty stoked on the discussion. I think we'll have him on eventually. That was one of the last things I added to the playlist on the Tubi account was all the Rudzinski flicks because I want to actually go through all of them. I think they have most of them on there.
He's got most on there, but Everyone Must Die, I think that's probably the one that's the most rough around the edges. But I love the slasher killer concept of basically you got a bunch of people who are all these people who are like final girls and these people with that like mojo to survive and take out the killers. And their job is to hunt down slasher villains like Freddy Krueger and so on.
That does sound fun. I remember you talking about that in the past. It sounds like something I would definitely enjoy. Well, fuck yeah, man. I think that's all we really got for tonight. You guys got anything you want to plug that's coming up or coming out or that you're working on?
Versus Awards, 30th of the month. Don't know the time yet because I'm trying to find out how long it's going to be. Cody's in it. And once I've got some extra stuff from him and some stuff from Dave, I should be able to then get an idea as to how long it's going to be. And Evan Jacobs might be doing an extra bit for me as well because he liked the idea that I threw out. He's like, ooh, that's good. I could do that in my car. So we're going all out this year. I mean, this might be the last year we do it. I basically said in there, if we get 200 likes, I'm willing to go through the headache of doing this again. If not, I'll reform it into something less intensive.
All right. So yeah, guys, get over there to Septum Sin versus the World. Subscribe to his channel so that you can be, up to speed on all that stuff. They also have a Versus Awards group on Facebook, and he's easy to contact over there as well. Same name and everything. So just find him on there and get in touch. It's pretty cool. It's like a low budget version of the Oscars made by people that actually give a shit about movies and get to determine who wins the awards, and it's pretty fucking fun. Lots of cool movies you wouldn't expect one picture of the year in different categories over there because it's actually a fair voting system and done by people that watch a wide variety of movies and aren't just voting for whatever paid the Academy the most money or whatever.
Some interesting ones got nominated and some more interesting ones won. Not always the ones you would expect. Not this year. This year indie people got out and voted. But yeah, we got some cool presenters. We got Cody as a presenter. We got Joel Wynkoop, Bill Herman. Kyle is there again. So some very fun things.
Yeah, a lot of heavy hitters right there in the indie community. So definitely check it out. What about you, Cody? You got anything that you want to plug?
It's funny you mentioned Joel. He's in Poltergeist that we're doing right now, which is with my buddy Josh that I've known for 20 years. Used to work with him at a video store, and he's the guy that got me really back into indie horror like around the pandemic. And so I'm really excited to do that because we're doing Pork Chop and Cooter again. We got to do some scenes last weekend, and then we'll be doing some more as it goes on. But it's probably one of the few scripts that I read that I was literally laughing out loud as I was reading it. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about our characters being in a full-length movie. I don't know what he's going to be doing with it. He self-funded it. But I don't know if he's just going to shop it around when he gets done. But for being a first-time director, writer, all that kind of stuff, he's doing the right stuff. So I'm excited about that. I'm proud of my buddy. Silent Night, Bloody Night 3 should be coming out October, November through Retrosploitation. Cheerleader Camp Elimination should be coming out around the same time through Retrosploitation. If you have a thing for pale, overweight guys in cheerleader outfits, have I got the movie for you?
Oh, you better believe I'm gonna find the perfect frame of you in that movie, and then I'm gonna have it printed off and like framed, so it'll just once I'm back down in the Schlock HQ downstairs,
So
I'll
you're
have that like on the desk or something, like a framed picture of Cody in his cheerleader outfit, because it's the best. I can't wait.
you're in Silent Night, Bloody Night 3 now as well. Oh,
Yep, we they had to do a pickup scene when we did Axe Grinder 7. I mean, it's not a huge scene, but I got to be. I'm in it with Mel, so I mean that's fun. Like she is an absolute sweetheart. Like it's always nice when it's people that you are a fan of watching and you get to meet them and they're every bit what you hope they would be and more. I mean, she is the absolute best. Camp Blood 9 was officially sent to Sterling a week ago Monday. Waiting on hopefully doing a commentary for it. He's going to be releasing that at the same time as another Camp Blood movie that Polonia did. So those will be releasing hopefully at the same time, kind of like how we did like Axe Grinder 4 and 5. Axe Grinder 7's done. Was waiting on seeing that Sterling was cool with Camp Blood 9 before finishing it. I'm really, 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 really excited about Axe Grinder 7. I think you guys will really like the ending. Somebody on this show right now came up with the ending.
Yeah.
But that's coming out. Halloween Shark was campaigns going on right now through Kickstarter. The plan was going to be to start filming that in November. It's looking like it's going to get pushed to December, but that one's going to be fun. That movie actually we came up with that idea driving to Houston for Axe Grinder 7. Will, Mel, and I in the car driving to Houston came up with that idea, so that'll be really fun. I've gotten the initial script for that. I think you guys will enjoy that. God, I hate this fucking talking too long. I did a scene for Jacker 3 the other day for Phil Herman. Excited to do that.
Yeah.
My buddy, my set wife, Ralph Ray, got to actually be on set for Jacker 3 and also Unearthed, which was the anthology that Phil did. So I'm excited about being in something of Phil's again. I'm excited about being in something that my buddy Ralph's in.
I haven't seen an Unearthed, which is interesting.
I don't think it's out yet.
Nope, it's
Oh, you haven't seen it?
Yep, I haven't seen it.
I thought you said you haven't seen it yet. I was like, I don't think it's out yet. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see that. Like, Phil's definitely got the lockdown on the anthologies.
And then getting a trailer in front.
And then whenever Blaze gets desperate and needs somebody, I'm always available to do stuff for Blaze. So I mean, he's going to be doing an anthology short for one of the Amityville movies that Ron Bonks announced recently. It'll be the second movie that he's getting paid to do from SRS, which is insane. So I mean that kid will surpass anything that I've ever hoped to do. But so I mean that sounds like a lot. I'm sorry if I drowned on too long, but it's a lot of stuff.
No, not at all, dude. All the stuff that we all need to know about. I mean, we're very proud of you, man.
You are the GOAT, as the young people say.
Well, if we can get this to where, we're on a somewhat regular schedule too, we'll be able to plug these things more actively for you. And, we'll have to make sure that we get some sort of a link tree going again in our descriptions so that you guys can find this stuff a little more easy.
And I'm sure whenever some of that stuff starts coming out, if we ever want to do discussions on it, I'm sure I can reach out to a couple people and get them to hop on. We can do some chats and they can talk about what a talented person I am and how nice I am. And,
Fuck yeah, as they should. I look forward to it, man. I don't got shit to plug. I mean, I guess if you guys want to see some fishing content on occasion, you can go over and check out my Untitled Fishing Show page on Facebook. I haven't been filming the last couple of weeks on account of a kayak incident that fucked my phone up. but I'll have that rectified here soon. I'm thinking about renting to own like 2 or 3 GoPros and getting that going. But I don't know if it'd be cheaper to just, well, it would definitely be cheaper to just save up and buy them. So maybe I'll just buy 1 GoPro, and then when I eventually get the second one, we can have some underwater footage as well. I got a 12-foot boat that I'm in the process of outfitting for some more intense adventures. Got a 10-foot kayak, and I do a ton of bank fishing. So you can look forward to seeing all that kind of stuff over there. Other than that, we do shit for this channel. We most recently did a discussion for Waxwork, which went pretty fucking well. I thought that was a good time. We had old buddy Ryan from Hormonal Werewolves on with us. Jack Hunter also popped in for a bit. I think we covered the movie pretty well. Overall, just a really fun flick. That was for our Classic Cut series that we've been slowly putting stuff out for. We got another one coming up on Sunday for the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But the following Saturday, we're going to be getting back to our low-budget indie roots with a discussion of J.R. Bookwalter's The Dead Next Door. So, if we're lucky, all 3 of us will be able to get together for that. If not, we'll figure something out, but it'll be a good time either way. This has been Schlock-Talk, baby. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hope you're looking forward to seeing this every Wednesday from now on, in addition to our other shows that we put out. So, cheers. Thanks for watching. Get out there, check out all the stuff we talked about tonight. We'll see you back here next time.